welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if this is your first time stopping by here, my name is Grace, and on my YouTube channel I share sewing tutorials and DIYs. In today's tutorial we are going to be making this very lovely bustier top with a front zipper. With a front zipper. So if this is something that you are interested in, then watch this video to the end and make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Let's start learning. These are the things that I'm going to be needing to draft out the pattern of my bustier. So I have my pattern paper here, my tape rule, my marker, my scissors, my curved rule, which is my French curve, and also my straight ruler. So starting from the top of my pattern paper, I'm going to be taking the bust point measurement. My bust point measurement is at 10 inches. So I'm going to mark that and draw a straight line across. So this line here is my bust point line. Then the next line that I'm going to mark is my under bust line. My under bust is at 13 inches and I'm going to mark that at 13 inches, and I'll also draw a straight line across like that. So this next line is my under bust line. Then the next line I'm just going to draft is the full length of the top. I'm going to be using that also as the waist length. So I'm marking my full length at 20 inches and I'm going to draw a straight line across like that. So that's my waist length and also the top length. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to be marking my chest line. My chest line is at 8 inches. To get your chest line, divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 2 inches to that. So I'm just going to label that line my chest line. Now on my bust point, I'm going to be taking my bust pan measurement, which is my nipple to nipple measurement, divided by 2. My nipple to nipple measurement is 9 and that divided by 2 will give me 4.5 inches. So on my bust points are marked 4.5 inches on the under bust, on the waistline, and also on the chest line. Then I'm going to connect those 4 points together. Now to work on my under bust tightening, I'm going to come down from my bust point by 1 inch. And on my under bust, I'm going to be using 2.5 inches for my tightening. So on that side that is going to the middle, I'm going to take 1 inch, and on the side going to the side, I'm going to take 1.5 inch, and I'm going to do the same thing also on the waist area. So now I'm going to be taking my curved rule. You can use your hands to do this, and you can also use your curved rule. So I'm using my curved rule to curve those lines into my under bust, and I'll use my straight ruler to draw a straight line to meet my waistline and my top length like that. So now to determine the upper bust tightening, I'm going to be taking the off shoulder length that I want. I want my off shoulder to be just 6 inches. So I'm marking my off shoulder point at 6 inches. If you want your chest line to be where your off shoulder ends, that's okay, but I don't want my cleavage to be showing, so I have to make it 6 inches. Now I'm going to connect that line to meet the off shoulder line. So from this point, I'm going to be taking 1 inch on each side to determine my over bust tightening or the upper bust tightening, and from the bust point again, I'll go up by 1 inch and I'll connect those points together using my curved ruler. Remember, you can also use your free hand for this if you are confident that you will do it well. So this is me just using my free hand to blend that together. Now on this line, I'm going to come down by about 1.5 inch to form my sweetheart neckline. So if you want yours to be deeper than that, you can go lower than that, and if you don't want yours to be deep at all, you can use just like 1 inch or half an inch. Now on my bust point and on my chest line, I'm going to be placing my bust measurement divided by 4. So my bust measurement divided by 4 is 9 inches. I'll place that on my chest line, and I'll go here to measure what I have in between this dot, which is 2 inches. I'll place it on the chest line, and I'll also add 1 inch for allowance. So also on my waistline, I'll divide my waist measurements by 4, and I'll measure what I have in between these dots, the tightening dot, and I'll place it right there, and also place 1 inch for allowance. Then I'll connect those 2 points together. Now on this off shoulder line up here, I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'll connect that to my chest line in an armhole manner. So that's going to serve as the armhole for my dress. So now I'm done. I'm just going to cut out this pattern, as you can see me doing it like this. So just go ahead and trace out the pattern. Also use your hand to blend the sharp edges together when you are cutting this out. So just cut out all the necessary areas, just the way I'm doing it like this. Also make sure that you are cutting directly on the lines. So when I'm done, this is what my front part looks like. So for the back part, I already brought another pattern paper, and I'm just going to mark my horizontal lines. So I'm marking my chest line, my bust point, and I'll also mark the full length of the top. So remember that my chest line is at 8 inches, the bust point is at 10 inches, and the full length is at 20 inches. So those are the horizontal lines that I have here. So I'm just going to label the lines. So that's my chest line, my bust line, and the waistline and the top length. So I'm going to be taking my bust pan measurement also on the bust point and also on the waistline. I supposed to extend that to the chest line, but I forgot. So I'm taking my darts just the normal way we take our darts. Now I'm going to extend my back also by 2 inches so that I will have the same length as the front. So my off shoulder that I'm using at the back is also at 6 inches, just the way I have it in front. So I'm going to be placing my bust pan measurements on my chest line, add 1 inch for allowance, and I will do the same thing on my waistline. Mark my waist measurement divided by 4, add my what I have in between my dart, and also add 1 inch for allowance. Also, I will measure my shoulder divided by 2 and also connect the armhole like that. So I'll go ahead now and also cut the back pattern. So this back pattern is going to be on fold, since the front of this top is going to be having a zipper. So I'm just trying to eliminate the darts here, even though at the end of the day I ended up using that at the back, but that was my original intent. So these are the front and the back patterns, and this is the fabric that I'm going to be using to make this top. So I'm just notching the bust points on my patterns so that it will be easy to locate when I'm sewing. So I've placed my patterns on the fabric. The fabric is folded into 2, and for this center front here, I'm going to be adding a zipper allowance of 1 inch, because that's where the zipper is going to be sitting. So I'm just adding my zipper allowance all the way around, and after that I'm going to make sure that I had about half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern. So I'm just using my free hand to determine that. You can use your tape rule to be very sure. Then at the down part, I'm going to be adding about 1 inch, just to make sure that I'm not short of fabric at the end of the day and my top doesn't turn out too short. So on this side front too, I'm doing the same thing. I will add 1 inch to the down part and add half an inch all around it. So except the side, because we already added allowance to the side. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out according to the shape. So take a note that on the center front you are to add your zipper allowance there. So if you want more than 1 inch for the zipper allowance, just choose what is convenient for you, but in my opinion it shouldn't be more than 1.5 inches. So I just marked, I notched the bust point of that center front, and I'm cutting the side front also, making sure I had half an inch seam allowance all around. Then when I'm done cutting, Also, I'm also going to notch the bust point area to make my work very easy while joining these together. So I'll go ahead and notch this bust point area. So when I was done, this is what I have for the front. I'm just going to go ahead and label this the center front and this the side front. Also for the back, I placed it on a folded cloth because the back is going to be on fold. It's not going to be cut separately. So I'm just adding 1 inch allowance to the down part like this, and I'm cutting it out. So at the top, I'm also going to add about half an inch allowance to aid me when I'm joining it together with the lining. So I went ahead to cut lining for all my pieces, both the side front, the center front, and the back. And on all my pieces, I also went ahead to iron ST, both on the main fabric and also on the lining of all the pieces. So this is what I'm going to be using for the padding. I'm going to be using this wadding for the padding. So for the center front, I folded my wadding into two and I placed it on it like that, and I used my pin to secure it down very well. And I'll turn it to the right side, locate where the under bust is, and cut with a straight line first. So you make sure you cut from your under bust, then cut to the side, then to that point that you are going to join together with the other side. So make sure that you notch your bust points. It is very important because you're going to be needing it. Then on this front area where the zipper allowance is, I'm going to be tracing off 1 inch. Remember we added 1 inch for zipper allowance, so I'm cutting off that 1 inch from the wadding so that it won't affect the padding later. So just shape out your breast pad very well. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the side front. Fold my breast pad into two, place it on it, locate my under bust and cut away from the under bust to the sides and also to the center part where is going to be joined together to the side fronts, to the center front rather. Then I'll notch the bust points. So I already have my breast pad for all my front pieces. So I'm going to be ironing that side that is shining on my pieces like that. So after ironing, this is what I have. I make sure that the bust points are meeting each other. Then I'll go ahead to the sewing machine and sew like this. So I've sewn one side, then I turned it to the other side. This is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and sew the other side also, and this is what it looks like, guys. Then it's time to do the same thing on the lining. So go ahead and arrange your lining, center front for side front, center front for side front, and also sew them together like you did for the main fabric. After I was done, this is what it looks like. Then I'm going to be sewing the lining on the fabric right sides facing each other. But before that, I'm going to be taking off about 1.5 inch from this lining. This is so that it's going to pull the fabric up, and I'm going to have a very clean edge at the end of the day. So you will see what I'm saying at the end of the day. So I'm placing the two linings together like this, and I'll cut that 1.5 inches together at once for the front lining. So I'm just tracing it off like that, and I'll also do the same thing for my back lining because same thing applies to it. So I'll measure 1.5 inches and I'm going to trace it off and cut it out. So when I'm done, I'll go ahead to join my lining to the fabric. Right sides facing each other, I'll sew first from the down parts. So I'll sew the down parts together from one part of the front. And when I'm done sewing it, this is what I have. So, and I have the excesses at the top here. I'm going to shift it to the top, and I'm going to use about half an inch to sew all around the remaining areas, also from the top to the side and also to that center front area. But make sure you are holding that center front area with just about half an inch. Hold everything with half an inch, but be very careful of the center front area because that's where the zip is going to be. So after doing that, I'm just notching all around. Note that I didn't sew down that armhole area because that is where I'm going to be turning this. So when I turned it to the other side, this is what it looks like. Now this is why I cut out that part of the lining, so that we have a clean edge at the end of the day. So this is the zipper that I'm going to be using. I think it's popularly called the old school zipper because you can zip it down all the way and separate it into two. So I'm going to be pinning one part of the zip down like this so that you can see, and when I'm done, I'm going to pin down the other side of it also too. So basically just sew the zipper down in an invisible zipper manner. So I'll go ahead to the sewing machine and stitch this down. So when I'm done, this is what it looks like. Can you see how beautiful this is looking? I'll open it up. You can open it up totally. I think that's why they call it old school zipper. I don't know what it's called in other place, but in my area that is what it's called. So I'm just cutting out this excess part of the zipper, and I'll go ahead and stitch it down like that. Then the next thing is also to join the lining of the back. I'll start from the down part just like I did in the front, and when I'm done sewing that side, I'll push it up like this and I'll sew the sides also. So I'll head ahead to the sewing machine, sew the top and also sew the sides. So this is what the back looks like also. Then I'll go ahead and hold my darts on the back. I'll take my bust span measurements, divide by 2. I'll extend that up to my chest line. So I'm just using my hand to do this, and I'm just making sure that I have my correct bust span measurement at the top also. Then I'll mark half an inch on both sides and connect them together. So just go ahead and take the dart on both sides of the back. So after I'm done, this is what the darts looks like, and I'm going to join both the front and the back together now with my measurements. So go ahead and stitch down both sides of the front and back with your measurements. After I'm done, this is what it looks like. So our top is almost ready. The only thing that is left now is to cut out the sleeve. So I'm using my remaining fabric here to just cut out the sleeve. This is everything that I have left on my fabric, and this is folded into 4. I'm doing a 3/4 sleeve, so I'm just going to take the measurement of where I want my sleeve to reach, and I'm just removing the remaining from the top over there. Then I'm going to take about 13 inches and draft like an armhole line for an off shoulder, and I'll go ahead at the top here. I'm going to add about 1 inch so that I'll be able to use it to fold and add my elastic band when I want to do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So I'm going to be using it as wide as it is like this, so that I'm going to get a very good fold when I had my elastic. So I'm just cutting this out just the way you see me doing it like this. So to create the elastic channel, I'm going to take one of my sleeve like this, and I'll fold with about half an inch first and fold with about 1/7 of an inch or 1 inch. So I'll go ahead to the sewing machine and sew down my fold both on the top and on the downside. So this is what my fold look like when I sew it down. So I'm going to be using my safety pin to pass my elastic through the channel I created just now. So just pass the elastic into it all the way, Then when you are at the other side, you are going to go ahead and stitch that side down. You can use your pin to secure it first, then you drag all the way again to make sure that you have that fold very well. So I'll do the same thing on the downside too, and I also went ahead to do the same thing on the second sleeve. So this is what my sleeves looks like. So on my top now, I want to make the armhole area very pronounced because it's too small, so I'll use my scissors to just cut out the armhole very well again. I did it together so that it will be rhyme. So after doing that, I'll take the measurement of what I have on the armhole area. I think I have about 4 inches. Then I'll place it on the armhole area of the sleeve also. I'll mark that 4 inches, and I'm going to chalk where I'm going to sew down all the way to the down part of the sleeve. So I'll go ahead to the sewing machine and sew that down. When I'm done, I'll cut out the excesses, turn it to the other side, and I'm going to place the armhole side of the sleeve to the armhole of the top. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So I'll just use my pins to secure the sleeve to the armhole area of the top, just the way you see me doing it like this. Make sure that the mid parts corresponds with each other. Then go ahead and pin. Then I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it around. So can you see what it looks like? I'll go ahead to the sewing machine now and sew this all around, and I'll do the same thing for the other sleeve too. So when I'm done, this is what my top looks like. So my top is ready now. I can just go ahead and use a weaving machine to weave that part. I think that's the only rough edges that is on this top. So this is what the tops looks like when I give it a good press. And also this was the final look on me when I put it on. If this tutorial has been helpful to you, kindly give it a thumbs up. Don't also forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified when I post helpful tutorials like this. Thank you for watching.